afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Maximise Your Membership session. This is designed for people who are already members and perhaps don't quite know all the benefits that FSB membership gives you, or maybe you're just thinking about joining and you're not entirely sure of what you get from membership. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you will actually have a really good understanding of what's available, but there's also opportunities for you to ask questions at the end so that we can answer them and give you any more information that you might require. I've got a panel of people here with me today, and they're all experts on the benefits, so they will be going through their individual sessions, giving you as much information as they possibly can. So I'll just let you know who we've got on the screen today. My name is Ness Gale, and I am an events coordinator for the FSB, and I'm also joined by Beth Dole, who's also an events coordinator. She will be doing all the important techie stuff in the background, and we can't manage to run the webinar without her, so we definitely need you there, Beth. We've also got Emma Walterton. She's an FSB regional sales manager. James Cordiner is the tax consultancy manager at Markel Tax. With Katie Fremantle, she's Managing Director of FSB Insurance Service. And we've got Patrick Herrlinger, Head of Partnerships Development at Zempler Bank. And we also have Susan Holton with us today, and she's Partnerships Manager at FSB. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we get into the session. You won't be able to use the chat facility today because that's been turned off. However, you will see a Q&A box. Hopefully it's at the bottom of your screen. So if you've got any questions as we go, just add them into the Q&A box. And towards the end, we'll save about 10 to 15 minutes to go through all of your questions. Also, just to let you know that we're recording this session today. So that means you don't necessarily, unless you really want to, you don't have to take any notes or anything, because we will send you out the recording and then you can play it back at your own time and recap on things that we go through. Okay, right, well, brilliant. Without further ado then, I would like to hand over now to Emma Walterton, and she's going to really give you some great information about all of our benefits. Over to you, Emma.
Thank you very much, Ness. Good afternoon, everybody. So, why join FSB? So, FSB membership offers you benefits, products, and access to information that support, protect, and enable your business to do better business. So what does that actually mean? That means there are member-only deals. You have access to 24/7 helplines. You have up to 100,000, and that is 100,000 essential cover. And that's the insurance policies like tax investigation, protection, and employment tribunal policy, up to 100,000 per claim. But within that legal 100,000 is also jury service. Now, it's an interesting one, jury service. It's actually for you and your employees, which is fantastic. So you can claim up to £250 a day, up to a maximum of 2,500, and that comes within the 100,000 legal protection. So also you have access to a comprehensive online library of legal and business documents. And also, since we launched our free template letters for debt recovery and our fixed fees, we've claimed up to £6 million for debt through businesses, which is a phenomenal amount. And you get together with our award-winning customer service. By joining FSB, you expand your network and you grow your business with hundreds of UK-wide events, of which we hold face-to-face and virtual around the country, networking like this one, webinars and workshops. So make your voice heard. Join FSB. As an FSB member, you can have your say. Support our work, lobbying government, make real changes to your business, people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma. That is great. And I know you're going to talk in a bit more detail later on about some of those aspects as well. But the jury service sounds brilliant, doesn't it? I didn't realise that was for employees as well.
Yes, it's for employees as well. Absolutely. An
So good.
amazing benefit. Absolutely. Well, there's so many. We have, I wish we had 4 hours. We still won't get through the amazing
No, no,
benefits of joining
exactly. No,
FSB.
because I think the government only pays something along the region of £60, don't they? So to get
Yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely right. Correct there. So, well, 50 to £100, I think. 50 to £60. Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely.
wow, so that would make a real difference, and that
Absolutely
can be
does.
done at any time. Lovely. Well, we'll talk again shortly and
Thank you.
get some more of those nice juicy details.
I know
Thank
we're going to a lot more detail. Thank you, Ness.
you. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, we're turning now to James Cordiner, and he's going to talk about the tax investigation insurance that you get with FSB membership. Over to you, James.
Yeah, thanks, Ness. Nice to be here. Yeah, a little bit of a introduction. So I'm James Gardner, head up the tax consultancy team at Markel, as Ness has said. So a little bit of background. I used to be a revenue inspector for many years, and I've spent really most of my working life in tax. Been with Markel now for 21 years, so quite a significant time. And we've been supporting FSB members with tax and VAT issues for more than 25 years. So we've had that long-standing relationship with FSB that we're really proud of. So what is a tax investigation? Most people don't want it, to be perfectly honest, but it's part and parcel of being in business. And, HMRC may come along and they may, speak about a compliance check. They may speak about an intervention. It may be an employer compliance review or a VAT visit. But all these things are, really important, and it's really useful, as an FSB member, to have that cover under the terms of the policy. So ultimately, when HMRC are looking at your tax affairs in a bit of detail, you need that early advice and support, and that can make a really significant difference to the process. So some examples of typical inquiries that we deal with, we're dealing with sole traders, partnerships, limited companies. HMRC's focus, it might be on tax, it might be on VAT, it might be both at the same time. We have tax consultants and VAT consultants. The two disciplines tend to be looked at separately by HMRC, and we do that, within the business here as well. So what does FSB policy actually cover? So full inquiries into a member's business trading activities, aspect inquiries, which are maybe what I'd term as a lighter approach from HMRC, but they can still be quite intrusive and still be quite involved. But it's where HMRC are looking at certain aspects of the return rather than maybe the whole business income and expenditure situation. I've mentioned employer compliance disputes, so where there's a dispute on maybe payments, to employees, that again can be quite involved and detailed from HMRC. VAT disputes as well, and something called Schedule 36 inquiries, which is a part of legislation which allows HMRC to inspect and request information and documentation. When it comes to VAT and pay-as-you-earn inquiries, the first visit isn't generally covered, under the terms of the policy. It's when a dispute arises that we would tend to get involved. That said, if HMRC are requesting information at the outset, then we can look at that. And if in doubt, I would always check with us in terms of the coverage, just to ensure that if there is a claim that can be made, that's made at the right time. As Emma has mentioned, coverage is the limit is up to 100,000 in terms of professional fees for any one claim in the period of insurance. It's a representational policy, that's important. So it would be me or one of my team that would be dealing with the inquiry and would be appointed by it's Markel Tax that are appointed to deal with inquiry under the terms of the policy. In terms of exclusions, there are some exclusions to the policy, and I'll just go through them quickly just now. So the main exclusions are where the inquiry, HMRC's inquiry relates solely to income from land and property rather than any business element. Cases where there's no reasonable prospect of reducing HMRC's alleged liabilities. If the tax return that's been submitted has been submitted more than 90 days late, or there's failure to notify chargeability to a particular tax on time, or where the tax return is completed wholly on provisional figures, those are excluded areas as well. Going into more serious aspects of tax where there's allegations of fraud, where the inquiry is being conducted by the Fraud Investigation Service or HMRC's counter avoidance teams, or even more seriously, HMRC's criminal teams, those are excluded under the terms of the policy for probably obvious reasons. And then disputes relating to national minimum wage or national living wage are also excluded. We've mentioned, say, tax avoidance issues as well. So it's essentially business activity only, and that's where we're covering the members' business activities. So a standalone matter wouldn't be covered. That said, if there was an issue in relation to a capital gain or rental income, and that's being looked at in conjunction with a wider review of the member's tax return into the business activities, we would certainly look at that. And these are areas that we can help and give advice on anyway, even if it happens not to be covered under the terms of the policy. Just want to highlight some of the key issues, the key benefits really, as being an FSB member in relation to what you get on the tax protection side. And so you do have that tax protection as a right of membership. It's support when you need it most, when HMRC open an inquiry. We do act as a really valuable and important buffer between you and HMRC. Your accountant, if you have one, your accountant's reasonable costs are covered to assist with inquiry where they are agreed and authorised in advance. And we do really support members, in very difficult situations and provide a robust defence to HMRC and challenge HMRC where that is required as part of the process. The focus is ultimately on getting the best possible outcome for the member. For VAT registered members, not everyone's VAT registered, but for those members that are, they do get a VAT invoice as part of the process, but that VAT is reclaimable in the next return. So the point to be made here is that there is no net cost to the member. It is a free service at the end of the day. And just very briefly, because I'm conscious of time, how do HMRC go about selecting, individuals for inquiry or businesses for inquiry? Well, they still undertake random inquiries from time to time. That's part of policing the system. But more and more in recent years, we've seen HMRC using a risk-based approach, and they have access to more information within their Connect system than they've ever had before. So they will look at certain flags, unusual trends, maybe mismatches in the systems, when they're reconciling, one lot of figures with another. And that can lead to, a review, which may be perfectly innocent. But, at the end of the day, it still leads to an inquiry with HMRC. So information from banks, credit card providers, debit card providers, and so on, other government departments, information from overseas entities, and more, we're seeing information being used that's simply in the public domain. So on your maybe your business website, on your social media, and so on. Again, just to highlight, HMRC hold more information than they've ever had before. Certainly when I was in the revenue, many years ago, it was a very, very different place. So they utilise that information in a different way. And just to sum up, so who we are, I've spoken about my background. So the background in the team, very similar really. Most are, been there and done it within HMRC. So it's a dedicated team, of former HMRC officers and experienced specialists. We know what we're doing when it comes to tax and VAT issues. And we support members through every stage of that process, right from the very first contact, once the claim's accepted, and comes through to us, through to the conclusion of the issue. Final message I'd like to leave is really just to contact the FSB as early as possible when HMRC, writes you and open an inquiry. The earlier we're involved, the better. We do get involved in cases further down the line, but it's really useful and beneficial for for you as a member to have that support right from the outset, so we can get things on track, right from the outset of the inquiry. Any questions? Feel free to ask, say through the question section, and happy to answer anything that you may have any concerns with or any issues with. Back to you, Ness.
Thank you, James. Oh, well, that was really great and so reassuring to know that we've got a team of experts who've got your back really, and who know the system. As you say, you're all ex HMRC people, so you know what's going to happen, and just invaluable. What a fantastic benefit to members. And I know that some people pay extra. Some members who haven't been aware of this benefit have paid extra to maybe their accountants or something for a tax investigation insurance, when actually they've already got it, and you know they've got it, and it's brilliant. So thank you ever so
Right.
much. Lovely to
Yeah,
know
no problem.
that you're there.
No problem at all.
Thank you, James. Lovely. Well, we're going to go back over to Emma now, who's going to give us a little bit more information about what's included in your membership with FSB. Over to
Lovely.
you, Emma. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you, Ness, and thank you to James. It's amazing. Now, the right of membership, as James said, was tax investigation. The other right of membership is a legal protection scheme. Now, what does that actually mean to you? It means that you have up to £100,000 legal expense insurance designed for you and your business. You can call us 24 hours, 7 days a week on our helpline and 365 days a year. And you have access to our helpline and also 52 solicitors. Now, remember, the membership is personal and also for your business, so you can call us on both those parties as well. And as we said, within the legal protection scheme, you get access to the jury service, again, to £250 a day or 2,500 minimum. As an employer, as employer, you get 24/7 debt advice line as well, regulatory compliance cover, criminal defence. I mean, the list is endless. Crisis communication, PR experts on hand to help you if you have a bad review within your business and you want to talk to a legal expert about it. Within the legal helpline, you also get access to, when you become a member, Legal and Business Hub. So if you haven't downloaded it, go onto your dashboard and you can go download the Legal Business Hub, and that gives you access to a library of documents of over 1,000 templates that are updated by lawyers on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, so you know they're all up to date. And within some of those legal documents, there's employment law contracts, property law, data protection, GDPR, cyber, as James says, tax, HR, health and safety, to be named but a few as well. Now, the other part of the protection for your right of membership is employment protection. Now, what that actually means as well, you have access to 24/7 advice line. You get our solicitors can represent you if you face an employment tribunal, and we recover of up to £100,000 per claim. But you must start the process with us. So as a member, if it happens before, then we won't be able to represent you in court. But if you start the process after, then we'll be able to help you through the FSB annual subscription. You get employment documents, as we said, on our line, on our hub line, employee contracts, policies, performance, disciplinary, firing and dismissal. They're not great topics, and also obviously they've got legally binding documents, but you know you've got them, managing employees, redundancy, etc. Our employee protection as well. You've got experts in HR, legal advice line, which was help support you with the new rules of the employment protection. Now, obviously, there's been some new legislation from 6th of April. So anybody who wants to ask our legal helpline about what the new employment laws are, we're here to help you. That's to maximise your membership. That's what we're all about. Now, I won't go too much into details. I think James did a remarkable job on explaining the tax investigation protection. But you know you've got it if you need it. And as James says, we've covered up to £100,000 per claim. And we have a great tax line, and James is on there with his colleagues, and it's 9 till 5:30, and they will help you with your tax and your VAT advice, which is phenomenal. As I say, I'll leave my little tax investigation because James did it much more eloquently than I ever could. I think that's about it from me, Ness, for now, for the 3P, shall we say, on protection and right of membership to FSB.
Fantastic. Wow. And as you say, there are so many benefits.
Oh, it's a romp through, isn't it?
It's staggering, isn't it? I like the idea of all that HR advice and stuff like that, because that is a bit of a minefield. And as you say, you know, employment law is constantly changing. So to be on top of that is so useful and helpful. And with all those templates, it's like you've got an HR handbook in your back pocket, haven't you? With all your policies and everything up to date. Yeah, so you're completely fully compliant, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much.
No, brilliant.
Really,
Thanks, Ness.
really,
Thank you
really
very much.
enjoyed that. Thank you. Right, well, we're turning now to Katie Fremantle, and she's going to talk about another one of our amazing benefits and services that we provide with our FSB insurance service.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me and the nice intro there, Ness. So I think Beth is going to kindly share my slides for me, so I'm not technically minded either, and it always tends to go wrong. So thank you, Beth. So first off, FSB was created in 2018 by FSB, using the expertise of some existing FSB members to fill a gap in the market. Most small businesses being sent to large call centres, buying online without advice. FSB thought it was time to provide an FCA-regulated commercial insurance advisory firm designed to provide a more tailored service to its many diverse and often complex members. FSB started with a 30% stake, increasing that to 49% in 2023, having declared the project a success, which we're incredibly proud of. And we're hopeful that in the imminent future, FSB might be looking to acquire more shares as well. So it really is highlighting the great job that has been done since 2018. Over the years, we've also grown in the insurance world, and we are multiple award winners, having achieved recognition in categories from Startup of the Year to Diversity and Inclusion, as well as Best Affinity Broker and Customer Champion. Thank you very much, Beth. So I think the biggest concern that we have as brokers at the moment is that insurance is not a simple product to buy, and many small firms are just as complex in their range and expertise as many larger businesses. FSB Insurance Service has a very simple mantra for members looking for commercial insurance: to give advice so that members are properly covered, selling products which will deliver when called upon, at a price which represents good value, and it is vitally important to be properly insured having taken advice. I sit on the British Insurance Brokers Association SME Advisory Board, and our CEO is on the Financial Conduct Authority's Smaller Business Practitioners Panel. We want to make sure that we are current in important insurance matters and are able to relay that to members when important. Thank you very much, Beth. So as you'll see here on the screen, it can be a little bit tricky knowing when you have access to FSB Insurance Service. When we first started trading, technically as we were a separate legal entity to FSB and GDPR coming in at the same time, we wanted to be cautious and make sure that we're following the rules. So the structure is that when you purchase FSB membership, we do not automatically get access to your data. You have to explicitly provide consent either to the membership advisor who comes to visit you or to the contact team, or provide that consent on the online purchase that you do. When that consent is provided, it will then come through to us at FSB Insurance Service. We'll upload all of the information, and then that is when you would become a registered member with FSB Insurance Service. And it is a right of membership service exclusive to FSB members. All members can register to use it. It is free to register, but we do need to get your consent to get access to your data. And then if you were to purchase a policy from us, then that is when you would become a customer of ours. So you can call for guidance in respect of any commercial issue, whether insured with us or not. That is probably one of our key benefits. And apologies, I've jumped forward a step. When you do get registered, we'll send you a welcome email with access to all of the various benefits on the right hand side, of which the majority are free or heavily discounted. You can call us, as I said, for advice if you have any tricky circumstances such as claims or policy covers that you need to discuss. And you can also get several added value facilities, including a free business continuity planning toolkit, which we had to utilise ourselves very early on in the stages of trading where our premises got flooded. It's basically a disaster recovery plan. 10 free credit grade checks, which is recently being updated, and that will be provided to those of you who are members already. A commercial property valuation indication toolkit. A free cyber risk review is on the way and also imminent, which will be very vital in the current day and age where cyber risks and exposures are increasing day by day, as well as a store of useful guides and articles. Thank you very much, Beth. So this really is just to sing our praises and to blow our own horn, really. It's highlighting the markets that we've got access to and how we've been performing. So these are updated details as of last month. So we are now selling over 70 different products in the last 12 months using access to 100 different specialists. If we aren't able to find a home, we have got many also providers in the industry who we can relate to and are able to ask for their assistance in placing you, so we can try to utilise as much help in the industry as possible. We're converting an amazing 48% of quotations and retaining 90% as well at terms of renewal, which is incredible. And our overall NPS, which is a net promoter score, which is effectively customer feedback and survey, is currently at 81, which is a world-class service and pretty much unheard of in the insurance industry. We've got a 5-star Google rating with nearly 200 views and over 40,000 registered FSB members and are using the services every day. We fielded 15,000 phone calls in the last 12 months, and we've got an enviable audit pass rate, highlighting that advice, quality, value piece, and that we want to make sure that we're providing you with as compliant insurance as possible. Thank you, Beth. At the beginning of the webinar, we did mention that our biggest concern at the moment is small businesses being sent to online providers where there's no advice being provided. That is basically essentially advisory versus non-advised, policies being incorrect, having not taken advice from insurance experts. A couple of examples that we've seen in the most recent months is we've had a pub and restaurant who had a liability only policy and the trade was down as a caterer. And when we spoke to him, we asked the reasoning for that. And he said because he didn't find the list, didn't have the option on there as pub and restaurants. So we had to get that policy cancelled and replaced. He hadn't covered any of his stock, including his liquor, wine, spirits, contents of which he was responsible. So we provided him with an all-encompassing policy to better suit his needs. We had a marketing firm who purchased a policy with the trade of an accountant, so it didn't include some very expensive equipment for when they're out on the road doing some filming and photography. We had a fisherman who turned to exports during the pandemic and wasn't given the right advice, so which he wasn't included for various elements of cover, such as products liability, because he started exporting, especially to America, and his previous policy only had public liability. And also, one of the historic cases, and was on the news a lot, we were able to do modifications to policies as well. So if businesses want to adapt, grow, change their avenues, we were able to assist with that as well. So we've had a couple of gin distilleries who turned into hand sanitizer manufacturers. So just a couple of examples where taking advice is key and making sure that you're adequately insured. Thank you, Beth. So great reviews. Finally, we believe that our business benefits from taking the time to do some good as well. So we want to make sure that we're enforcing that with our customers, and the attached reviews are just some of the examples of the hand holding that we provide to the customers, making sure that they are fully absorbing the information that we're providing, taking our time, doing the due diligence to make sure that they're comfortable with the policy that they're purchasing. And we just need to make sure as well that as well as provide a great service, that we are as competitive as possible, of which I'm very pleased to say it does contribute to the amazing retention rate that we have as well. So please go and take a look at our review page. There are some fantastic ones on there and some great shout outs. Thank you, Beth. And then finally, we do believe that our business benefits from taking the time to do some good as well. We pick a different small charity to support each year, trying to prove that just because you're small doesn't mean you can't help. We're incredibly proud of the work we've done over the years for various charities that include helping seriously ill children and their families, council support groups, those with learning disabilities, dementia carers, and this year, young homelessness in South London. Last year's association with dementia carers generated over £20,000 in donations through a variety of staff-led projects over the year, which included a couple of the sales team doing a Tough Mudder operation, which includes a couple of electrocutions here and there, I believe. But yeah, we just want to highlight that although we are insurance, and insurance does tend to get a bit of a bad reputation, we are here to do good as well. We want to try and support small businesses so they're covered when needed, and support local charities as well. So thank you very much, Beth, and thank you, Ness.
Whoops, thought I pressed unmute. Thanks, Katie. Excellent. Really great service. Oh, and you are right to shout. out loudly and blow your trumpet, because actually you've got a fantastic service there, and those 5-star reviews and the world-class service speak for themselves, really, don't they? So that is wonderful. And
Thanks.
I know you said about the registration benefits. They are amazing. All of those things that people get just for registering with you, they're all free. 10 free credit checks, business continuity plan. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful. So how easy is it for people to register? What do they have to do?
All they need to do is either go onto the FSB website or FSB Insurance Service website. On FSB's website, once you log into your membership platform, there is a pop-up now that pops up where you can register for the insurance. Or if you want to go to the FSB Insurance Service website, it's on the front page. Just click to register, and it's got the list of benefits on there as well.
Great, lovely. Okay. Well, I recommend everybody register if you're an FSB member. Make sure you're absolutely maximising your membership. Thank you so much, Katie. Okay, we are off to Emma again, because we've spoken about rights of membership and the things that you absolutely get as part of your membership plan. There are also some value add services, aren't there, Emma? So you're going to talk a little bit about those?
Yeah, absolutely, Ness. Thank you very much. And one of the ones I'd like to focus on is our FSB training, which is an association with Staff Skills Academy. It's an amazing opportunity for you and your business and your staff. It gives you 12 months access to over 700 CPD certified online courses. The entry model starts at £80, which is phenomenal per employee, per person, and that equates to about 11p a course, which is absolutely amazing for your business. All sectors are represented, personal development, mental health, well-being. There's a well-being hub as well, and it's bespoke training, and they also do some face-to-face training. Obviously that will be an additional charge to the virtual courses, but they do that as well, and they also offer 24/7 customer support as well. So an amazing opportunity. As we say, with the right of membership and becoming an FSB member, you get these extra member benefits, so we can actually pass all the savings on to you. One that's going really well, Ness, is our FSB healthcare app. It's a phenomenal new, it's been going for a little while now, but I like to say it's new because quite a lot of people have not got it or not downloaded it. And what you do, you get 3 face-to-face face physiotherapy sessions with this app once you download it. It's for your employee and your employer. So you can buy this for your employees as well. It gives you unlimited access, that is unlimited access to a private GP, by video or over the phone, and you get 24/7 digital service. You can have up to 6 counselling sessions, virtual or over the phone. They also have an amazing staff for cancer support from dedicated cancer experts. And one of the phenomenal parts of the app as well is you can get discounts and cashbacks on a monthly basis, and it's seasonal as well. You can get up to 750 discounts on, so for example, supermarkets, gyms, retail, restaurants, cinema, and all for, drum roll please, all for £39 a year plus VAT. And that's for your employer and your employees. You can buy them for it. So phenomenal value added products there, Ness. I'm sure you would agree as being an FSB member.
Absolutely amazing. And it strikes me that these are fantastic things for your staff, aren't they? You can offer this. Yeah. You can offer the training courses, and they're all CPD certified, aren't they, as well, those courses?
Are, absolutely. And this is what it's about. Your FSB membership is for you and your employees as well, by providing the training, the healthcare, well-being of our staff is a pivotal part of what we play at the moment. And it's an amazing opportunity that you have a hand, a GP. When can you get to see a GP? I don't know about you, but we have problems in finding a GP. So you've got a GP at hand and unlimited service, which is phenomenal, for £39 plus VAT a year.
Yeah, £39 a year, not £39 a month.
Oh no, it's a year, Ness. It's a year.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, they are absolutely.
And it's amazing. It's for if you buy it for your employee, it's for their household as well.
Okay.
So it's not just for the employee.
Right.
children, they can use it as well. It's per household. So it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
that is fantastic. And sometimes employers can't always offer perhaps a big pay rise every year, and especially at the moment. But if you can offer something like this for your staff, it's a fantastic benefit to give to them, isn't it?
It is.
And that's going to retain your staff as well as retrain them or train them up and get their skills up where you want them to be, and looking after their health. It's just lovely. Thank you so much for telling us about that.
Very welcome. Thank you very much, Ness. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, well, okay, we are going now to switch to Patrick, and he's going to talk to us all about another of our benefits, which is the FSB Business Banking with Zempla Bank. Over to you, Patrick.
Hi there, everyone. Patrick from Zempla Bank. I've been here for 19 years, so bit of a lifer, as they say. And for those of you that might not be aware of Zempla Bank, we've been around for 21 odd years. So I've been there since almost the beginning, and we were effectively the first of the digital banks that you see out there now, of which there are a large number. So we were the first to really launch that type of proposition, and have really only focused on business banking, so small to medium businesses, and most of that is sort of 0 to 20 employee mark, or we also have larger clients as well. And a lot of you might hopefully know about us because we have a lot of FSB customers that have taken up our banking offer that we've launched some years back. And we might also have encountered quite a few of you at some of the local business bootcamp events around the country. We do try and get out there as much as we possibly can. And for those of you that might not be aware of us, you might have heard of us as Cash Plus Bank. We rebranded a couple of years ago. And in terms of where we sit in the market, we've got some 200,000 active small business customers. So although our name isn't out there in the media quite as much, we have a really decent market share in the UK of small businesses. And we are one of 3 partner banks that the FSB have negotiated special banking tariffs with. And we've created a special bank account, FSB bank account, which is, certainly I will say the FSB did a phenomenal job of negotiating with us on your behalf, because it is by far the best banking tariff we've ever created, that we've made available to the FSB. And the way that looks is, in a nutshell, that we have more or less free banking with a few sort of small exceptions for things like international transfers. But certainly in the UK, it's more in and out, with the exception of cash deposits, where we have a very compelling offer as well. And if you're sitting there and you already have a business bank account sorted out, I just say, hear me out, because we have a number of members that were quite happy with their bank and have actually kept their existing bank. But there's actually a compelling reason to potentially open an additional account with another bank like ourselves. And hopefully you'll see some of the case studies that we've got, where we actually are not only in some cases saving businesses hundreds in banking fees, but actually also enabling a lot of clients to actually earn thousands in cash back with us. So without further ado, I'll just share my screen here, take you through whether or not this account is for you. And I should say, before I go through this, obviously, what we are offering is a business current account rather than, say, a lending solution, which, again, if you see bank, that might be what you initially think of. But it's a business current account. It does come with the option of an overdraft, but fundamentally, it's for people that just need somewhere to manage their money effectively. So the types of FSB members that sign up with us, and again, we've spoken to many of them at the local events, so we've got a really good grip on realistically why people sign up with us. And again, the account isn't going to be for everyone out there that might already have an account with a high street bank. But for some of you, there's actually a pretty compelling reason for why opening an additional account with us might be useful. So just to knock the first reason why people might apply with us out, of course, if you're using a personal account. So I won't dwell too long on this. I think most FSB members do have business current accounts. We do come across the odd one at events where sole traders are still using personal accounts. Of course, it looks a lot more professional if you have a business account. especially because these days you have something called confirmation of payee, which means that when you invoice someone and they go to pay you, they can now see in their banking app that yours is actually a personal account. So in terms of that sort of professional look and what you're putting on invoices as well, yeah, it's just something that really early on should be sorted out. And if you speak to any accountant, of course, they hate unpicking personal and business expenditure. So most sole traders after year one find out that it probably wasn't a great idea to use their personal account. So I'll just knock that one out of there. If there are any members that are still using a personal account, yeah, even if it isn't us, just please open a business account for your accountant's sake. So getting into established businesses then that might already have an account. Number one question is, if you spend or buy a lot, classic examples would be shops buying stocks or hospitality businesses, but actually also any other type of business where you need a lot of materials, or perhaps there's a lot of travel as well. That's where this account gets really interesting, because we talked about the fact that we effectively have built a more or less free account for members. But what we've added in is that whenever you spend on your card, is you earn 1% cash back on your card spend. And that's you earn up to £1,000 per month. And we actually have FSB members today that are earning £10,000 a year in cash back. That's free money that before they weren't earning, basically. So certainly if you buy a lot of stock, it's a really compelling one, even if you have an established bank account, to potentially even open this and run it like a spend card effectively to earn cash back, and you can order additional cards for team members and the like as well. The second one is, then do you take a lot of cash? Again, not a very interesting point, but for those of you that do take a lot of cash, you know what I'm talking about. It can be a serious line item, running into hundreds of thousands of pounds per year difference if you're being charged 0.5% more or less. So we charge 0.55% for cash deposits, which is, very much leading in the UK. We see other banks now charging 1.5%, for example. So if you do still take a lot of cash, it's a fairly material difference. And again, if you want to run it as an additional account and just have it for banking your cash through, that's absolutely fine with us as well. We hope you then see, of course, that the account is phenomenal and has great features, and we hope that you'll then switch to us completely. But we're absolutely happy if you run that as a secondary account as well for that activity. And then, of course, do you need an additional account? And what we're seeing nowadays is that having that backup account from a point of view of reducing your risk is something that businesses are thinking more and more about now, where a lot of businesses have that secondary account sitting there in case something happens with their main account. And again, because you can get this thing within a few minutes online, and you can get it for pretty much no cost, it's kind of a no-brainer to put that in place. In terms of then, I'll just come off camera so I'm not constantly sharing here. Apologies. I think I might not have actually been sharing at all just now, so apologies. So these are the questions I just went through here, of course, so I've talked through those. In terms of the features on the account, it very much like all the other digital banks out there, we've built a whole load of additional features into this that help you manage your money. So it helps from an accounting point of view, but also it helps with things like doing your invoicing for you, so you can issue invoices out of there. So we're trying to do more than just transactions in and out, certainly. And when it comes to the accounting piece, you can categorize your spend, attach receipts against it, notes against transactions, and it also connects with pretty much all leading accounting software. Importantly, also with the FSB's Making Tax Digital tool as well. So it's really nicely interconnected and just helps you manage your money more effectively. So the background there, I think the main thing I just want to call out, it's worth noting, we are a fully regulated UK bank, of course. That is something to check, especially with digital banking providers out there. And we've also got hence full FSCS protection on funds. That's just something to bear in mind. I just wanted to call out the bottom point on the UK call centre, because that is really important to us as a business, and we see that small businesses need to have that fallback. Hopefully you don't need to talk to your bank, but with us, we advertise, and you can look on our website. If you hit contact us, the phone number's right there. We're not trying to send you down loads of different options or down a chatbot first to avoid you calling us. We're very, very happy for you to give us a call, and we aim to pick up the phone within a minute. And the call centre's here in the UK in Liverpool. So just wanted to call that out. And we're also very proud of our Trustpilot rating. So just a bit of bragging I've got to put in there, because for banking providers, certainly that type of rating is right up there with the top providers, which we're very proud of. So just to summarize the tariff, then the sort of key points, there's, again, for the first 2 years, there's no fixed account fee. In year 3, we do charge £69 per year. Now, with the cashback that you'll earn, that should hopefully become fairly inconsequential. If, though, you're not happy after 2 years and you do want to not pay a fee, then you can actually switch to a product where there's no monthly fee, but you will lose the benefits such as the free transactions and the 1% cashback. And then, of course, as I said, electronic transfers in and out are free. You earn that 1% cashback, and again, for the physical cash that's deposited, it's a phenomenal rate, and a reason why retailers and pubs up and down the country open accounts with us, often just to bank the cash, basically. And with us, the branch network is the post office, just so you're aware. Okay, so again, from going out there and talking to members, and I certainly recommend for any of you that have not made use of them, to get out there to the local business boot camps, because they're really phenomenal, great speakers, great networking, and for us, really useful to actually meet our customers. So we've just got a few sort of case study examples here of the type of business that applies with us. We actually get a lot of car mechanics because they buy a lot of parts. And there, again, the feedback has been phenomenal in terms of the difference it's made, being able to actually, earn 10, 11, 12,000 pounds in cashback. We've then got the example of store owners and shop owners getting up and down the country that use Zempler for banking cash. And then, of course, the example of the sole trader that has not yet sorted out the business current account. So if you're one of those, that's a really easy, quick one to fix. So in terms of signing up, again, it's just getting into the member portal. You'll see there's a section there where the banks are listed, and you'll then link out to a page within Zempler where you can apply for the account. Really important to say, please use the link. The only complaints that we get are that people apply with us directly, and unfortunately, if you do that, you cannot then switch to the FSB tariff. So you need to make sure you come through the portal and click on the right link in order to get the tariff. From there, it takes typically about 6-7 minutes to apply. For sole traders, even faster. So apply for an account. So really key to us, and that's how we actually grew as a business. And for those of you that have been around the block, you remember what it was like with the high street banks back in the day, when it used to take months sometimes to open a business account. And that is certainly how Zempler grew very quickly, was reducing that down to a few minutes. And we're still obsessed about making it as easy and quick as possible to get that bank account opened. And that's me done. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. That is really inspirational, actually. I didn't know half of that about Zempler Bank. I did know about the 1% cashback, but I think that's probably all I knew. But actually, it's a fantastic deal, isn't it? Really great. I was 1% cashback. Some people are getting £10,000 a year back in their pockets. Wow. That's not to be sneezed at, is it?
Yeah.
And I like the idea of a UK call centre because, I have spent hours trying to get through to somebody, and you get an automated voice, and then it's click 1 for this and click 3 for that, and oh my goodness, and then you wait 20 minutes with some very annoying music in the background, and then you get cut off probably. So yeah, that's really good. And I mean, it's great. No fixed fee for 2 years, 0.55% cash deposits. Fantastic. Yeah, really,
it's a sort of
really good.
unglamorous sales message, that one, but you'd be surprised at the amount of events we go to where retailers will whip out that card and they'll say, "Yep, I've actually got 5 accounts for my cash takings. the pay point machine, or did I take for the used to be for the Oyster and the lottery machine? So yeah, people really like to segment out the separate accounts nowadays, and
Yeah.
with us being able to open it in a few minutes, there's kind of no excuse for not putting that in place.
No, absolutely. And I'm going to tell my son, he is a tiler and bathroom fitter. And I actually I suspect he's probably still using his personal account. So that's a big lesson. And he buys loads of stuff, of course, for his
Yeah.
job. So loads of bath stuff and tiles and, well, everything that goes with it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to tell him about it. So
Yeah, tradespeople definitely. That's a really big one for us, and it's
yeah.
certainly not alone, because it's around 30%. You see different figures out there, but it's around 30% of sole traders use personal accounts. So
Yeah. No, I'm definitely going to tell him there's a big lesson there. Lovely. Thank you so much. Well, we've come to the end of speaking to our panelists. I was just going to very quickly tell you all about, I think you mentioned it, Patrick, the power that FSB has to get some really good deals for our members, to negotiate and get some fantastic deals. And we are national, we are across the country with thousands of members. So we actually have a bit of power behind us to help and support our members. We also do lots of, as Emma mentioned, lots of work with the government and campaigns, and we really make a difference. I like to think that we are the big voice of small businesses, and that we're out there to support you all and to make a big difference. So that's us all done, apart from some questions. So let's have a look in the questions box and see if there's any. There are already a couple. If anybody would like to add any questions in there, we do have a few minutes to go through them. So please add any questions that you want to ask any of our panelists. So the first question we've got, I think this is probably for you, James, is do you provide support for sole traders filling in their first tax return?
Yeah, so the simple answer to that is yes, we do. I mean, that would generally come via the helpline that obviously members have access to, the tax helpline. We don't submit tax returns on behalf of FSB members, but we can certainly support in the process. And if they've got queries on, the income or expenditure that they're looking to claim, that's certainly something we can help with. And then even, developing that conversation if they're concerned about, what HMRC may have an interest in, and so on. When it comes to inquiries, then we could certainly have a more in-depth chat on that. But yes, there is support available short of actually submitting the return on behalf of the FSB member. If I may as well, just very briefly add on to what Patrick was saying, because I think he made a really, really, useful point in relation to business bank accounts. Nobody in business should be using their personal bank account for business purposes. And I'll tell you one simple reason. If you do happen to get HMRC coming along asking questions about your business, if you don't have a business bank account, you've opened the door to letting them look at all your personal bank accounts, not just the one that you say you use for business reasons, but all your other savings accounts and any other bank accounts that you have, because you've essentially said to HMRC, I don't have a business bank account, so you've opened that door to everything, and they've got easy access and clear justification to request sight of all your personal bank accounts that they don't automatically have if you have a business account, because they're only entitled to see the business account. So Patrick made a great point. You made it as well, Ness, in relation to your son. But I just wanted to highlight the importance of keeping business and personal entirely separate.
That's very good advice, actually. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? But like you say, people don't necessarily think about it, and they just go how they've always gone. So very important point there. Thank you, James.
No problem.
Question here for Patrick. Can I pay from my UK account for a course in South Africa using rands, South African rands, through my account? Oh, that's a good question.
great question. Yes, so we do have international outbound payments on our account, but at the moment it's euro and dollar.
Oh, sorry, Patrick, you've gone. Can't hear you. You've gone.
Can you hear me?
Gone a little bit quiet.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, just about.
I'm not sure what's.
Oh yeah, no, you're loud and clear now.
Okay. member. It's a great question. Yes, we launched international payments fairly recently. We've currently got US dollar and euro. So the answer is right now.
No, we've lost you again. Sorry. We heard a bit about euros and US dollars.
Yeah, so you'd have to. I'm saying watch this space for
Right.
the will.
Yeah, we've lost you unfortunately again. But so you're saying watch this space, and you will be, hopefully bringing in additional currencies soon.
And you can also use your card. So certainly, if they take card payment, you can pay.
Great. Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all the questions that we've got. Is there anybody else who would like to either add anything, anyone from the panel that perhaps we haven't covered, or any more questions from our audience?
Yes, can I?
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah, what I would say to everybody out there in the audience, whether you're a new member or an existing member, please go on your dashboard on a regular basis, because we add value-added products, as we said all the time. We haven't touched on all of those products today. We've got Making Tax Digital, we've got Funding Platform, we've got 2 other banks that we work with, the Cooperative Bank and Alica Bank, and payroll and pensions. So please do, my best advice to you today would be go on your dashboard straight away and see what we can offer you as your business. Thank you. That's my best advice.
That's actually really good advice, because there is so much and it's hard to take it all in. And even looking onto your membership portal, go on there regularly, have a look what's there. If you've got questions, we have a fantastic customer support team, and they will be more than happy to help you, and also to direct you to the right people. And the other thing that we have is a massive network of people local who know your local area and who can support you and campaign and help you with local issues. It's not just national stuff. It's potentially things like road closures and diversions and things like that actually impact small businesses massively. And your local person would be able to support you in all of that and, campaign for you on your behalf. So it's easy to find out your local person who is in your area and who is sort of the expert. Lots of them up and down the country. They're called regional business sales managers. And if you go to our website and you go onto our customer service people, you can ask them who your local person is. So that is really good. And the other thing we've got that I haven't actually mentioned, we've also got a fantastic, now that we've talked about, blowing our own trumpets a little bit, we have a fantastic rating on Trustpilot as well. So we'd love to hear from anybody who has a good or a bad experience with FSB, and let us know how we're doing. Even if you go to a networking and you want to say, do you know what, that networking was really good, we'd love to hear from you. We've got boot camps as well up and down the country, as Patrick very kindly mentioned, and they are a great opportunity for you to engage with your local area, to meet lots of other people, and to get some real expert support from speakers and people who come in along to help and support you and give you lots of information about business and how to help you. So have a look, find your local. We've got a really easy to navigate FSB events page. So all you have to do is search on Google, whatever, for FSB events, and then you can search within that for events in your area, boot camps, networking. It's very easily to be searchable. So I recommend you have a look at that as well. And we'd love to see you at any of our in-person events, our networking events, and our virtual networking. So time is sort of running out now, and the hour has gone incredibly quickly. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy. I'll be sending out the link to the recording. So if you want to get back to me and I can pass any questions that you suddenly think of, I can pass them over to the right people and they'll get back to you to help you. Thank you ever so much for joining us today, and we hope you found this informative and useful. I certainly have. And hope to see you again soon. So it's bye from me and it's bye from our team today. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.